Hey there, Chet Womack from freedogclass.com. Wanting today to talk about how to train a dog with food aggression and how to go through the process of taking a dog that's starting to growl or already is growling when you come by, you want to take food out, or a child walks by and starts growling at your child if it's eating or has something in its mouth, and teach that dog to literally have something like a pizza in its mouth, actively chewing it, and drop it the second anybody comes near the dog and no longer growl at all. Does that sound miraculous? Maybe it does to some, and maybe it would be depending on your aggression issues that you already have going on. I don't know how aggressive your issue is, but I want to give you an idea of something to try. So there's a thing that you have to teach your dog, and that thing is a new rule of life, and that is that the dog has to learn that if it gives up the thing that it covets so strongly right now, something even more awesome is coming in the future. And that is a pattern that has to be built. And the way to do that is you start with low-grade things. So this might be, for example, your dog's kibble. You might give your dog the kibble, reach your hand down, and see if the dog slowly starts to growl if you get too close. And then what you can do is you can use some of the videos I've talked about later to teach leave it, right? And so you can learn how to teach leave it. I teach it for free over at freedoglessons.com as a place where you can sign up on my newsletter to learn how to do that stuff, or you can search other YouTube videos and things like that. But what you do is you teach your dog to leave it with a very low quality item, and so that might even be a toy, even lower quality than food, whatever it is. You teach your dog the leave it command, and then what you do is you ask your dog to leave it while it has something of higher value. So first you teach to leave it with nothing there, right? You drop a tennis ball on the ground or a piece of cheese on the ground, and you cover the cheese with your foot. You ask your dog to leave it. There's a whole process for this, and the dog learns how to leave it. Once your dog knows how to leave it, what you will do is you will add the kibble. Ask your dog to leave it, and he does it then. And then you will add higher grade food things, maybe a bone, maybe a stuffed bone, maybe a Kong. It's up to you. But what happens every time you do this is you hand your dog the item, and let's say it's a bone. And I currently have a dog that I'm working de-food aggressing with the bone, and it gets very aggressive around the bone. And so what I do is I have a handful of wonderful treats that are better than the bone, like baked crispy liver treats and those sorts of things that I hand make. And I bring the food up and I touch the bone as I give the dog a treat. And he's like, oh, if I just let Dad touch this bone, I get a treat if I do it without growling. And I continue to just touch the bone and give a treat. Or if the dog can't handle that, I just walk within a foot of the bone. And if the dog doesn't growl, I give a treat. Until when I do it so much that the dog starts to learn, you know what, Dad's coming by and I'm going to get that liver thing again. Who cares if I have a bone? And they start to not even pay attention to the bone every time you bring the bone out, because every time you bring the bone out, and the only time you bring the bone out is if you're going to do training on leaving the bone. You don't let the dog have access to that high value food item without you there to decondition their possessiveness over that item. Now, you could do this. You could continue to build up. The key is you start with low intensity items, you build up to higher intensity items until you actually get a really intense item. Like right now I've taken the food aggression out of the bone, and we are working on things that the dog actually has in its mouth. So a thing that I am at with my dog at this current stage is a piece of pizza. So I take a whole slice of pizza and I give it to the dog, and the dog's eating it, and I've got those awesome other treats as well. And I ask the dog to leave it, and I hold it. I don't let the dog pull the pizza out of my hand. It's kind of trying to pull the pizza out of my hand. I say leave it, and I wave the other treat in front of its nose, and it's like, oh, I don't want to, and it finally drops it, and I give it the treat reward. Because I've done so much conditioning and training of the dog to give up items of value, and I started with very low items and continue to build foundation with slightly more tasty items and slightly more tasty items, and then amazingly tasty items, and still they're able to do this because they're starting to be conditioned to be excited about giving things up, because what's Dad going to give me now? He's starting to drop, she, I should say, is starting to drop the pizza out of her mouth. The saucy, cheesy, meaty pizza is being dropped out of her mouth that she's actively chewing, and I'm being rewarding the dog for this. That is the process for how you train a dog with food aggression to actually get excited to drop items. And I just thought I'd share it with you. If you're interested in more stuff like this about conditioning dogs to do some things, there's two resources you might want to check out. One is freedogclass.com, where we give a weekly webinar that teaches you how to creatively use rewards to get your dog to be more obedient. And the other one is at Service Dog Secrets, where we have service dog trainers that teach you how to get remarkable obedience like the kind that working dog people use in the service dog world for your own dog. Doesn't teach you how to have a certified service dog. That's another level that we can't provide. Like those kind of dogs can dial 911 for you, and if you fall and break your hip and do all sorts of amazing things. But we do take and teach the principles used by working dogs like service dogs or guide dogs or police dogs, and we teach you how to add them to your own dog's life to desensitize them so they're more just calm and cool in their environment. That program is only, it's a live class. It's only open once a quarter, but you can go sign up for it or learn more about it over at servicedogsecrets.com if you are interested. But hopefully that gave you some ideas of how to desensitize your dog to food aggression, and if you work on it every day, multiple times a day, it needs to be 3 to 5 times a day, your dog will start to get excited to drop things out of its mouth, and it won't be worried about you stealing it from them all the time.